Well, when I'm wrong, I must admit that I am wrong. We all make mistakes every now and then, and I guess mine was just to listen to what the loudest majority of the Bless Online community had to say about the game within its first few days of release, and that was the fact that the game is bad. And as a result, I started the game with a mindset that I shouldn't expect much, that the game is broken, that it's pretty bad, and I will not have a good time playing it. And it turns out that after spending the last 5 or 6 days playing only Bless Online, as Steam says in total for 38 hours, I can no longer say that the game is bad, and I actually quite enjoy it. So I decided, let me make this video, first off inform my audience, if there actually is one, that I plan to keep on playing Bless Online. It actually is currently my main game and my main MMO, and also talk about what I like about the game and what are those very few things that I still don't like about the game. To be honest, mostly I like the game, but there's always positives and negatives. So let's talk about those, let's start the conversation and see where the game stands today. To begin, I guess I could first bring up the points that I mentioned on the previous video, update those and see where I can move on from there. First though, I would like to say that you should probably always take with a grain of salt what everyone says about the game, including myself, because if there's one thing that I learned from this experience is that probably those who make a living out of reviewing games, and I'm talking about the bigger channels and so on, after playing so many games, they probably tend to get their expectations higher and higher when it comes to new games. And also, usually in general, people get influenced with whatever is happening around them. So maybe that's why on the first few days of the Bless Online release, so many reviews were negative and so many people were talking about the same issues. Also, it may have been, some of the issues are not in the game anymore, so it may have been just simply a problem with way too many people playing on the very limited amount of servers. Simply too many people trying out a game and the developers not being prepared to supply for that many people. For example, some of those issues, there were reports of crashes. I myself, after 38 hours, didn't experience a single crash from Bless Online, so there's that. The marketplace exploit that people are talking about, that one was fixed, or more precisely patched. The translations, those are also getting patched. I myself didn't specifically look at every single text to see if they are correctly spelled, but from my own experience I didn't have any issues with the translation. The voiceovers, I guess those are okay. After about level 15 I stopped listening to the main storyline because at least for me they kind of sound fake, because usually, the biggest issue that I found is that usually when people speak, they don't make specific spaces or breaks after every single sentence. And I kind of noticed that during the voiceovers, the actors tend to make spaces after every single sentence, which kind of sounds unnatural. And also it's kind of monotone, so it's just, I guess, personal preference.
Welcome. I gave him the information Marco gained from the Red Masks meeting. It shows that their HQ is in the old district.
I've reconsidered my decision. I will help Chico. I haven't heard anything from my son Carlo since he joined the Red Masks.
Good, then let's get started.
This all, in my opinion, is just simply minor issues because most of them are fixed, but probably at the moment the major points that people still argue about are the performance, as in the FPS, and the combat. In my opinion, the combat is okay. I was kind of going to complain about the camera being kind of broken. You have to keep on pressing the right mouse button to actually move the camera properly. After the first 3 hours, in the first 3 hours of the game I had issues with this, but after maybe 3 or 4 hours I got used to it and it became something normal, but it definitely was annoying. also the zooming issues and so on. But on the combat itself part, I didn't really see, I mean, the combat isn't extraordinary, but in the same time it's fine. For my own expectations, the combat was okay. As I said, I was going to complain about the camera, but I changed my mind when I actually made my Berserker, and I noticed that it is kind of true what people said. The new type of combat, the rhythmic combat or whatever it was named, it is not implemented for every class yet. I believe only Berserkers have it, and I will put it on the screen so you can see the difference. But for the Berserkers, you actually don't have the same camera issues. You don't have to keep on pressing the right mouse button to move the camera, so there's that. And once they implement that for every class, I'm probably not going to have any more issues with the camera, especially since there is also some form of fix that allows you to zoom out further. So for me personally, the camera, I mean, after they implement the rhythmic combat, it will be fine. The combat itself, I didn't have many issues because it seems interesting enough. I would like to be able to make more combos. For example, instead of pressing the second skill and then the R buttons twice or the T button twice, I would like to combine them in some way, just have more variation. Moving away from combat, I don't want to stay too much on one topic, but when it came to the performance of the game, I guess this is the part where I still have some issues, but seeing as the game runs on DirectX 9 and the engine being kind of old, I'm not sure if they are going to ever get the game to run perfectly smooth at 60 FPS and so on, but you don't need to apply the FPS fix to get a nice performance. I only found out about the FPS so-called fix yesterday, and I probably played my first 30 to 35 hours without it. And I can say that outside cities you do get 60 FPS, especially since there is little to no difference, or at least from what I noticed, if you drop your settings to medium or around basically 3 out of 5 instead of 5 out of 5. If you drop your settings to medium, the FPS issues kind of go away outside cities, and inside cities I will have to mention I have the game installed on a hard drive because my SSD ran out of space. So if I move the game from the hard drive to my SSD, since this is an open world game, it might improve the performance, because it did improve it in the past for me when it came to Black Desert. I had the same issues. The game would keep on stuttering every time the map had to load, and after moving the game to an SSD, most of that, I mean I didn't have as many issues as I have here, but all of the issues went away. So maybe the combination of unlocking the FPS using, I will link the fix in the description along with the video so you can follow it if you are interested, but if you unlock the FPS using that so-called fix and you also use, let's say, medium settings, the game runs pretty well. I get maybe 120 FPS outside cities, and in the city usually my FPS drops only when it has to load the map, which is quite often since it's a city. So yeah, that's it for the performance. I don't know what else I should say about it. I guess I can just move into the positives now, because you all already know at this point what are the bad parts of Bless, but why did I change my mind and why am I still playing the game? I would have to say that first off, to get some form of idea where I started, my first ever MMO was Dream of Mirror Online. You can search it if you want. It's a very old game and the graphics are actually much worse than Bless has to offer. And to some extent, Bless Online actually reminded me of Dream of Mirror Online. Also the way the camera moves and so on, I don't know, it just simply reminded me so much of that experience. You could say that I'm a solo player because up until level 33 or so I played the entire game solo on my own, and I did enjoy it. On my first 3 to 4 hours I just simply was too focused on what everyone else stuck in my head. I just simply looked too much at the negatives, but after getting used to the game and the way it works, it actually slowly became normal, I guess. The dungeon experience that I started at level 33 was really nice, so that's something that I definitely didn't have in Black Desert before switching. And when it came to actually grinding and so on, the quests were somewhat interesting. I didn't really get bored of questing over and over. The hunting idea, basically having a certain number of monsters to kill. Let's say you have a quest to kill 5 monsters. If you kill one of them, you get a certain a different type of quest called hunting quest, I believe, and that one gives you extra rewards if you kill a certain amount of monsters. For example, 10 of one specific type, then 20, then 40, and so on. So that kept me grinding and being somewhat enjoyable. The quests themselves, the side quests, are somewhat interesting as well. So overall, for me, it kind of felt like I was enjoying a normal RPG, a single player type of game. And as I mentioned on my previous video, I was just simply looking for a new experience and a fresh game to play for a while. And Bless Online definitely delivered in that aspect. Another very good point that I would like to make about the game is its music. If you play without watching something else in the background and you actually do have the music enabled, on some areas the soundtracks are actually really nice. So for me, just simply having the music enabled, the game running, nothing else besides it, it really felt like I was enjoying a standalone RPG, basically playing on my own, and it didn't really get boring at all. Playing 38 hours in 6 days or 5 days is actually quite a lot. I didn't play that much Black Desert in a very long time, especially since lately when I play Black Desert I never have the music enabled. Black Desert is all about grinding over and over the same rotation, the same area, so for that one I usually listen to Netflix in the background. So it was a nice change to actually be able to only enjoy Bless Online and not have to supplement it with extra type of content besides it to not get bored. Actually, I can give you an example with 2 soundtracks that I personally found really nice. So yeah, at this point I don't know what else I could mention because I never script my videos, and I always tend to forget when I actually record what I wanted to talk about. But my current thoughts about the game is that it definitely has its issues. At the moment, what I would like to see fixed is the rhythmic combat actually being implemented for my paladin, which is my main class, and as a result have the annoying camera being fixed, as in having to press the right mouse button constantly to move it. And besides that, some improvements to performance would be nice. Besides that, everything else for me seems fine. I didn't get to end game yet, so there's that. I'm, as I said, level 36, but up until level 36 the game was really enjoyable for me. The conclusion on my previous video was that you should wait a couple of weeks, see where the developers take the game, and then maybe decide to buy it. I still stand with what I said. You should probably wait about 1 more week or so if you didn't buy the game yet, and then decide if you want to buy it. But seeing as we get patches that fix problems every single day, I definitely think that the game is getting closer and closer to being recommended. I personally can say, as I already mentioned a few times, that I'm enjoying the game quite a lot. For me, I think I'm playing it maybe 6 to 8 hours a day. It's definitely my main MMO and my main game at the moment. I will make more content for it, and if you want to play the game with me, I guess leave a comment below. We can invite each other, I suppose. Yeah, conclusion for this video at least, I definitely changed my mind about Bless. It's not a bad game, it's not the best game out there, but it's definitely far from being the worst. As I said in the beginning, if you really want to see where I started in my MMO journey, just search on Google, what was the name? Dream of Mirror Online, and you will see how bad the graphics were on that game, and then just simply sit and think about the fact that I played that game for probably 3 years, back when I was 12 years old or something like that. So this game, definitely I like it. The graphics are acceptable, that's my verdict on that. The performance, the FPS fix doesn't really do a lot. I mean, it unlocks the FPS, but besides that I didn't really see much of an improvement. So I don't want to repeat myself too much, so let me just end the video here. Thanks for watching. I hope this maybe changed your mind or gave you an insight about how the game is at the moment. You know, I should definitely change my format of videos and just simply make them, I talk about whatever is on my mind, because I never remember what I want to talk about when the recording time actually starts. And that should be the title for every single video. So yeah, thanks for watching. Again, I hope you found some information from this video. I'll see you guys next time with also another Bless Online video. I plan to start a kind of series, my road to endgame. I recorded quite a lot of stuff from all the way to, I think, level 1 to 36. So there is going to be a lot more content coming for Bless. Since it's my main game, I definitely don't play something else to post for those. So I'm moving off topic again, please click away, go away. The video is over, and yeah, see ya.